want to do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you want to do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Come?
Alright, I'll do my own bit for myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it. Get off the road.
Found him.
Hey Dave.
Hey, Boater.
A group of pirates, rogues, and ruffians stumbles into a tavern. "Aye," they said, rattling a little pouch. "Can we gamble in here?" The tavern keep shook his head and said, "No dice." Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. I'm Boater.
And I'm tickled pink.
See, I find good stuff when I look for bad jokes and then rewrite them to be better.
I like that just because it's one of those moments of I get that one because I know that no dice is a colloquialism. Like making sure that I'm also watching
Yep.
our own program. I really cannot appreciate enough the work that Steve does, namely in the fact that we started the program and I wasn't standing at the table and we're still audible because we're not tethered to those headsets.
Yay.
So thank you, Steve, for resolving that.
Yeah, we've got...
What up, Vladdy and Akai? Thank you so much for the lurks, my friend.
What's up, folks? We've got a fair bit to go on this week, including a really entertaining Twitch ban. And this is a story that I read about and that I was aware of, but that Steve actually said, hey, make sure you do this for a ban. And it is so weird that I wouldn't have considered it until Steve actually said something. So, what was banned was a show on Twitch called Nothing Forever. Have you heard of it?
No.
Nothing Forever is basically an AI recreation of Seinfeld. It was fed all of the, OpenAI was fed all of the scripts. It's got a bunch of different things, Stable Diffusion doing a bunch of the art and so forth, with the goal of creating new Seinfeld-style content. Basically, keep the show going. Change the names, make us legally safe, but keep the show going. Similar format, friends living, the apartment, the stand-up routines inside, whatever, in between, and so forth. Unfortunately, during one of those stand-up interludes, the main character, Larry, veered into transphobic material, thus getting a ban from Twitch. Co-creator Skylar Hartle said that he was, quote, super embarrassed, and that the team is currently investigating how we can implement a secondary content moderation system to have an extra layer of redundancy to ensure this doesn't happen again. Because Twitch is awful about talking about this kind of thing, we don't know exactly how long it's banned for. It is its first ban, so we are expecting it to come back, again, when the creator feels like it is ready. They were using ChatGPT and OpenAI moderation services, but apparently not to their fullest, so they are going to work and make sure that it is cleaned up properly as best they can before everything goes live. That's an interesting project. I've made my view on AI stuff pretty well known right now, considering the algorithms that it's all fed on being harmful to artists and so forth. But I think it's an interesting kind of experiment, which experiments mean the stuff sometimes will go wrong, as stuff did right here.
Do you remember what character it was that was talking during the interlude that then got into some racial things? Did you happen to see? I know that's deep info, but if it was Kramer, it's very kismet that even the AI version of him would say something incredibly dumb.
I think since it was I think it was the Jerry Seinfeld character or whatever. Larry. Right, yeah.
Funny
so
enough that
whatever.
you mentioned that, Steve just showed me a really interesting thing where it's AI generated. Is AI generated? Is that the proper term for that stuff? AI generated Eminem, where it's his raps from whatever, and it's like one of them was about Eminem talking about becoming a chess champion. And it's like it's
Okay.
4.5 minutes, and it's to the dun 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 dun.
Sees the local chess tournament, enters, beats Big Blue, the supercomputer, and it's fucking.
Interesting.
It goes. This story goes along with the idea of. Does everyone remember when Siri was first launched, and they launched that it was going to learn, and within a span of a week, because it had learned from what people use Siri for, how they ask questions, what they're searching for, this and that and the other. Within a week, it had unlearned half of the English language and learned a whole bunch of crass terminology.
well, like
so they had to take it down, shoot it out behind the barn, and bring out a new one.
Well, there was Microsoft of all companies had like it as we would know it today. Like this was years ago, but as we would know it today was an AI VTuber, like a virtual character that was AI created, and of course she got racist as hell and had to be taken down in days.
Oh God.
And so Nothing Forever tried to get around that kind of thing because it wasn't learning from the user base. Its only learning set was all of the scripts of Seinfeld. But no, because it uses OpenAI, so it has access to the wider data set. And
It probably
And
a
like,
turn
basically-
of phrase was probably used,
Yeah.
and it probably then had to search
well,
for.
so I didn't watch the clip, but it was basically like during one of those stand-up bits. It's like, this isn't doing well. Maybe I should talk about something else, like something transphobic. Blah 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 blah. It's like, using transphobia to stay relevant. That reminds us of someone else whose game we're not going to mention coming out this upcoming week. Anyway, Dave,
TERFs don't get the nerd glasses bump.
what does get the nerd glasses bump though, Dave?
Well,
What's coming out?
I've scoured the internet for 3 days that are coming out on the 14th, and I am excited for each of them because, my God, what an interesting era of games we're coming into. And so the first one is called Spy Bros, PP and BB's DX. This content presented to you in Nerd Division.
So I'm sorry. Say the name again.
Spy Bros, PP and BB's DX.
Okay.
This was a remake of a 1991 arcade cabinet called PP and BB's Whoopee. This was one of
Okay.
those arcade cabinets created in the 90s that was meant to get people who were kind of lonely to put money into a puzzler arcade action platformer, and as they beat levels, a picture of a scantily clad female would slowly be revealed. Spy Bros PP and BB's DX does not have any of those features. They took them out of it
Obviously,
specifically
it's on the Switch.
for that reason.
If you want those kind of features, you can go on the internet in, say, 1998, and those games exist there too. Not that I would know.
Or your local Spencer's. They still have those games. But 24 levels, 6 zones. The goal of the game is to plant a bunch of bombs, which is also a very topical thing that they don't usually make nowadays. Plant a bunch of bombs and then get out of the level. It's basically an inverse Pac-Man where you have to get all the things and then leave instead of getting all the things and then you win. Sounds like an arcade game you would not find at your local arcade. Exactly. Exactly.
Those fake ads seem real close to the real thing. Uh-huh.
There's straight up Marlboro at it.
Oh, I see what you mean. In the game?
Yeah.
Marldoro.
Yep.
Nice.
It is certainly a product of its time. It has certainly got some visuals and things. But if you're a fan of the PP and the BB, this game will be for you on the 14th on Windows and Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
The next game, I won't lie, I started writing about it and I got so damn smitten with it that I watched all the trailers for it. So now I'm curious as to which one Steve is going to pick. But on the 14th, coming out for Windows, PlayStation 4 and 5, and the Xbox One and the Series X, is the title Wanted Dead.
Wanted Dead or Wanted Dad?
Wanted Dead.
Dead. Okay.
This game
It's
is...
two very different games. Wanted
and
Dead.
This one is gameplay, enemies, and bosses explained, which, I mean, is a more accurate representation of the game as a whole. But if you are a DED Dead, says Taco Pill. Welcome, Demon Dragon, Love Alec, and Taco Pill, by the way. This game is a hybrid slasher and shooter from some of the folks who brought you different titles like Ninja Gaiden and things like that.
Yep, it looks a little bit like side-scroller fighter, but also has some shooter in it. I'm guessing in an overarching thing that is kind of Left 4 Dead, kind of enemies like that.
You are not totally off. So here's all the buzzwords that I got from this. Cyberpunk Adventure.
Okay.
The zombie unit headed by an elite Hong Kong police squad called the Zombie Unit, headed by Lieutenant Hannah Stone. This game is basically a 90s cop action flick. And if the game didn't advertise itself as this game is incredibly hard, please don't expect this to be a walkthrough beat game. I really... the songs that they used in the trailers, the idea that the first trailer I saw of it was literally not about the main characters, the zombie unit. No, it was a worker at a diner serving people at a table while a very famous song played in the background. And then that same person left the diner and then went to a evening gentleman's club, shall we say, and was there.
To go play PP and BB's.
And exactly, PBBB's whoopee, not DX. And then in the background of all these businesses, the zombie unit was there doing things, eating food at the club. They were questioning an owner. As the person was walking home, the zombie unit was attacking a perpetrator. And then the owner of the club, the worker of the diner, got home to her kids and was talking about how great a day they had and so glad to see them and that they're safe and everything. And I was like, damn, if this game wasn't advertised as it's going to be hard, I wouldn't just expect that a Kai is going to play it and I will get to watch it that way. But Wanted Dead, highly recommend it just from the atmosphere alone.
I just want to see that trailer.
I will send it.
Please send me
You know
that.
what? I will post it in the Nerd Glasses
Discord,
different
yes.
Discords. But it's a lot of fun. Apologies, Love Alec, that I did not greet you sooner. Wanted Dad is just a dream daddy by another name. Exactly. The third game is a game that if you've seen my streaming, you'll be very familiar with it, and you'll know why my blood pressure is already over the moon, and I'm overjoyed.
Oh, you said your blood pressure was up, and I was like, oh, are we getting another Dynasty Warriors game?
Yes. I will forever meme that. No, I've been spared.
You're excited for this.
On the 14th for the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, it's Journey to the Savage Planet Employee of the Month Edition. Journey to the Savage Planet came out many years ago, and myself and a good friend of mine, Morgan, or goodness gracious, I cannot remember her Twitch tag because it's been a while.
Enticingly Dead?
Yes, thank you. Enticingly Dead. We played through it on many different streams because it's a two-player co-op space exploration game where you are part of the pioneer program of Kindred Airspace to explore ARY-26 to figure out if it's hospitable for humanity because humanity needs a new place to go and generally make a mess of.
Kind of
to give you an idea of the kind of jokes that they tell in this game, every single time they mention anything, they put a little asterisk on it, and then they mention that most expenses were spared. This is the cheapest space exploration that money can buy with a cloning machine. and it
The
was
cheapest one that money reluctantly had to buy.
Yes. It's so much fun. It's so tongue-in-cheek. Morgan and I had a great time with it, and I will be purchasing this game in physical at some point, and then hopefully getting Morgan back in the studio to play it with me, because it just we had such a blast with this. It was one of those co-op games that, like, if you're playing co-op, you have to, like, buddy up and pick things up together and do these things. But you can also accidentally push people off of cliffs and do that stuff. It's a hoot. And if you haven't played it, I highly recommend Journey to the Savage Planet or the Employee of the Month edition for the next-gen consoles coming out on the 14th.
I'd say that these creatures look like something out of Spore, but they're not phallic enough. They look adorable. Look at all them. Half of them are cute, and the other half are cute and want to kill me. Aww.
I mean, all of them want to kill you, but some of them can't and are not able to. But they will crowd around you and, like, Night at the Roxbury, where they're just bumping you and going, hey, hey, hey. Exactly. Those little, like, chicken things. They don't like that you can throw them, but you can.
Any sentence that includes the phrase, they don't like that you can throw them, that then doesn't end. Wonderful.
And that is all the games that are coming out in the next 7 days.
That are worth paying attention to.
We do have that are getting the Nerd Glasses bump.
Yes.
We do have a poll today, but it is not your usual. Holy crap.
We have opinions in this poll now.
I'm very glad that people are using their Insane Games Gelt to vote. But it's that, did Oreos cause economic destruction? Yes, and Evelyn 2 cookies? Or no, Duncan get dunked by society as a whole. Make your voice heard, because Red Mage Gaming posed a very interesting story to us. Taco Pill redeemed posture check. Let's all sit up very nicely, kind of ruffle the papers, make sure we're smooth out the, Steve's even doing it because he's awesome.
I have better upright posture when I sit cross-legged in the chair. I don't know if that's better or worse for me, but here we go.
I asked the PT who works in my school, because I do, when I'm streaming at home, sit cross-legged in my chair. And she said it's not necessarily a bad thing as long as you're not cross-legged and leaning forward. And she was like,
right.
But you hunch, don't you? And I was like, what? No!
No, I noticed when I'm streaming at home that, like, if I, like, tuck a leg up or sit cross-legged, whatever, I am sitting so much higher that I need to adjust the height of the webcam. And then when I inevitably let my legs come back down again, I slump, I slouch.
Thank you, Taco Pill, for those.
Also for the hydrate redemption, I ran out. Dave, can I get you a water, or are you good?
I'm good, thank you, though.
Okay, I'm getting myself a water.
Red Mage posted in the Nerd Glasses topics folder on the Weekend Wednesday Discord about a strange conspiracy-esque correlation between Oreos and certain unfortunate economic downturns, and we'll talk more about that later in the program. But man, is it funny. But it means that today's snack is actually predetermined, in so much as Oreo did release another Oreo that was so tempting Steve couldn't wait for the program to start to try it. But we will be trying later in the program the most Oreo. It's cookies and cream flavored.
I
It's
figured
Oreo
that we should
flavored.
have tried to force the vote by having one selection say Oreo and the other one say Conspiracy Baseball, who then would force Oreos on us. But Dave didn't want to do something that underhanded, and I respect him for that.
Namely that I didn't want to remove what's currently in the mystery box because I think it's hilarious and one day it'll get voted for. But that's me tipping my hand. Boater, what have you been playing? What have you been watching lately?
Not a whole lot new, but last night, maybe the night before, I was playing Far Cry 6, and I've been playing a lot of that lately. It's been going really well. And I accidentally, more or less, ran into some DLC.
Oh?
Because there's been some free DLC releases for the game post-release. And it starts off like I had just been doing some stuff where I had like some supernatural plot lines as far as like, oh, the gods of the island, whatever. And then I get a call from one of the people running the Resistance, and he's like, oh, like a bunch of guerrillas went missing over here with a bunch of C4, and now we're getting Russian transmissions. Consider my interest piqued. I go, I investigate. There's a TV that's all kind of fuzzy. I get a massive headache, and all of a sudden the Russian person is speaking English with the peppering of Spanish. So, oh, she can speak. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Like, if I hadn't just been doing some supernatural theme stuff with, like, the one bit that kind of does it, I would have been like, but no, I was primed for it. I was ready. Long story short, The Vanishing is Stranger Things crossover DLC.
Huh.
I have never watched Stranger Things. I have no interest in doing so. So that whole thing got me less interested when I got into the bunker and then was attacked by something, and then a Stranger Things style title starts rolling.
Oh god, that's so funny.
I was more interested in it before it was a crossover for something I have no interest in.
You're literally like, and isn't it funny when they do crossovers in video games? Like, there is 1% of the population who plays the game that's literally going to go, honey, it's a reference we don't like. Pack it up, we're going home.
Like, at that point, I was like, okay, I'm in it. They do the thing where they strip you of all your gear and you have only what they give you, which at the start is a silenced pistol and 3 bullets here and full 4 bullets there. So, all right, you're doing the stealth thing. Then the next thing they give you is a shotgun, which shoots a bunch of fire rounds. That went well. Like, it's well balanced. I enjoyed the gameplay of it. It took me an hour and a half, maybe. And, you know, there was a couple, like, it was good gameplay. Just the theming fell absolutely flat for me. But especially because, like, it starts with, you know, an old Russian bunker, and there's, like, a Russian transmission. I'm like, Yara is basically based on Cuba.
Makes sense.
Soviets kept nukes in Cuba. Like,
only because I was listening to a podcast about this recently. We're getting
Okay.
another. The nuclear warheads themselves never made it to Cuba. However, literally everything else was in Cuba.
Okay.
The missiles, the launch sites, the ability to do these things. Literally, the warheads didn't make it off the boats.
okay, thank you for that clarification. I'm happy for that. But and I also love when anyone gets the chance to be like, I learned about this recently. Hence, every single time, the 2 times so far that I've listened through the Fall of Rome podcast, it becomes immediately relevant to every discussion around me. To the point that it became a meme on my own channel. But yeah, it's like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, okay.
I love that idea that, like, something that would have gotten people overhyped and over the moon, and the
I've already got another one lined up that's Rambo themed, and I have no interest in that either. That said, I like that it's free DLC and that it's not time limited. It's not like with Fortnite, if you didn't get the chance to do something with Thanos a couple years ago, you missed out. You can't do it anymore. It's in the game. It stays there. It's there for whoever to play it as long as you got the internet connection to download it after release.
I absolutely love that. Again, those are 2 big DLCs that, like, I heard about. It was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And you're the one you're in the percentile. Pardon me, not to say 1%, but
Yeah.
the percentile of people that are literally like, challenging level, I'm in. Theming, screw that. Which again, that's the fun of video games. That is the fun of storytelling and all these things. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Other than that, I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I finished, so like after you do the intro bit, there's 3 main sections that each have their own storyline before you then do the finale of the capital city. I finished the Western Province storyline a couple days ago, and just yesterday I started on the Southern one. So I'm like, oh, that's, you know, like getting into it now. Hey, we got new characters going in. I'm really enjoying Far Cry. I did a bit, like, I was kind of impressed. Like, I enjoyed how the plane's controlled because I managed to clear a bunch of airspace and fly one around for a while, do a mission. It was good times. And I'm like, let me look and see what other people think of their gameplay. And I ran across a Reddit thread where someone said, this flying mechanic is so awful, whatever. And they posted video of them, like, trying to do a bit where you're supposed to capture a plane and bring it into a hangar. And all the comments were like, my brother in Christ, you need to land the plane on the runway first before you put it into the hangar. line up half a kilometer downwind parallel with the runway like a real fucking plane does to land on it. This guy, like, runway, hangar, and he, like, and managed to avoid it crashing before it did the fade out to black where it's pristine and sitting there. And it's like, hey, good job bringing me that. He, like, cheesed it. He just hammered it into the hangar, which is what I would expect Dave to do. Meanwhile, I'm, like, lining up a mile and a half away. Even with the runway, I'm like, all right, I kind of wish I could see the runway numbers and, like, get the lights, but okay, this ain't flight sim. We're still gonna, all right, a little bit. Okay, bring down the speed, pitch up a little bit, drop it. Ah, butter. This guy fucking, why doesn't it work?
I will tell, funny enough that you should mention that. Firstly, Taco Pill with a very apropos, I don't know if I can do a Doofenshmirtz voice very well.
I can't either.
If I had a nickel for every time X happened, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Seems apropos for that especially.
Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time there was DLC that everybody except me got excited about, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's strange it happened twice.
So I will say, speaking of which, there was a level in Medal of Honor Frontline where you have to steal an opposing, like, bomber plane, this, that, and the other. And the objectives were very unclear as to how you were allowed to get the plane. But I learned very quickly that in the hangar bay, you are not allowed to shoot a rocket launcher. And then I learned it again, and a third, fourth, and fifth time, just for good measure. Because you know what? There were so many explosive barrels, the plane's hanging in the air, and there's so many people on the ground running around, and I just didn't want to deal with them. So I just, one Panzer rocket and done. Like,
yeah. Sorry, I am listening.
No worries.
I have a friend that.
Hey, everyone has their journeys and their stuff going on. It's not a.
Someone's updating on how their doctor visit went, so I'm reading through that real quick.
Very
anyway,
nice.
So that's what I've been playing: Far Cry 6 and hitting the Vanishing DLC. What about you, Dave?
I'm gonna sing a little song first because I've had a really uplifting time. I've had a really a really uplifting time from some things, and I'm very excited about the future, and I'm very excited for the months and years to come out of some things, and I'll get into that after I play because. Damn it all, I missed like 3 streams in a row of playing ukulele, and you people can't avoid me if you tune into programs that I do. So I will point at you probably to sing some things. You've never seen the Bob's Burgers movie, have you?
I have not.
Okay, good.
Okay, that's a third nickel for things people are interested in that I'm just not.
Every day we come downstairs and lock the door and turn the sign to open. Open. It's another day I give myself a little diarrhea from the worry and the stressing and the hoping. But I won't think about those fears now. The stream is gonna be so great, people say, oh wow, when they open their apps, open their eyes, chat in here and give a high five, extend a loan, throw us a bone, and tell us that we're in the zone. Send us on our merry way, say have yourselves a pleasant day. We'll come back here, we'll go berserk. We'll hug and kiss and get to work. Oh, Bobby, I don't like what I'm hearing. Diarrhea's fine, but no sense fearing. When you have just that unstoptimistic spirit, it's gonna be the sunny side of streaming of our lives. Woo!
Oh, sorry. I gotta turn the page.
Every time I see him, oh, my heart, it does a crazy little dance. Something like, And I want for him to kiss me, to walk away, so I can see what's shaking in the backside of his pants. And then Gene says, poop? I think that this is real, what I feel. And if he could feel it too, well, that would be ideal. So I wanna make this thing legit. I'm gonna put a ring on it. But not a ring, 'cause that's cray-cray. I mean, we're only in 8th grade. We'll do the thing 8th graders do when you like me and I like you. Put something special on a chain and give it to him and explain, I'd like for you to be my summer boyfriend. He'll say yes, and then to seal it, shake his rear end. And it's gonna be the sunny side up summer of my life. So can you sing this next part? It's
Each and every day I want to sing, I want to play this napkin-y thing. I made it, and it's
gonna revolutionize American pop music. Love it, Boner. Thank you. Each
Happy to
and
help.
every day, I just think I'm pretty great. Yup, that's right. No big deal. I'm not hiding what I feel about some things on my mind. And if they're holding me behind, keeping me feeling small, though they actually make me tall, hope they don't hear me talking about them. Don't know what I am without them. But this stream time I might see just who we turn out to be. And it's gonna be the sunny side up summer of our lives. Sunny side up summer. Ooh, they didn't have that on there, but I know it. Guess we're gonna go for it. Feels kinda scary, I'll admit. We'll be great, it's gonna work. We'll hug and kiss and go berserk. I'll take a chance, don't second guess. We'll be doing great if the answer's yes.
I'll think about it.
So, I have had in the last 2 weeks the most health issues I have ever had in my lifetime. I have skipped the most streams I have ever had to skip because of snow days, because of not being able to leave the restroom, because of discomfort and things like that. I have also, in the last 2 weeks, had provably, since 2018, when Twitch started giving me numbers of things, the worst tune-in and chats of my entire streaming career. And you know what? All of that, once again, bundled under, this is all positive and it's all something to grow on. And I'll tell you why. I have been streaming on this platform in March for 6 years. 6 years of the Weekend Wednesday, 6 years with Nerd Glasses, with Insane Games TV on DAM 314, and so many exciting things. And if I want to tell myself in a very begrudging way that this is the first time that I've had a community turnover, that I'm not paying attention to what I've been doing and what I've been streaming and where I am and who the wonderful people are that have been in my life and who have either stayed or who have moved on and grown to wonderful, excellent things on their own endeavors and their own machinations, who have had kids, who have moved out of the state, who moved out of the country, who no longer open Twitch on a regular basis. The people who came during the pandemic stayed afterwards and have now found so many wonderful things to do with their time. Infinitely grateful for the time I got to spend with those people, and infinitely proud of the things that they are now doing with their time and what they are pursuing. But just because people aren't tuning into me anymore doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing what I like doing. This past Sunday, I finished a game that I love dearly. I finished my first run through of the Dead Space remaster, and it was fucking incredible from start to finish. The graphics, the gameplay, the sounds, all those things. It made so much fun. There were no people in chat when I finished the game. There was no one to chat with, who were chatting with me when the ending came up, for me to kind of chat with. And so at the time I was a little bit down. But then I rewatched the VOD and I realized after so many years on the platform, I kept talking, kept doing, kept being in the moment, kept trying to talk about what I was thinking, what was happening, what's going on next, and made plans for the New Game Plus playthrough that we'll be doing on the Weekend Wednesday this week. And as much as it was like one of those, like I was really excited to share the end of the game, I was really grateful that people tuned in and chatted and did all these things through the run of the game. Because let's be honest, I played for 9 hours one day and then 3 hours here and 2 hours there and 1 hour there. It's not always doable. This is performing arts, people, and performing arts is not a linear path, just like everything else in life. What you do, even if it requires an audience, because live streaming does, and we're infinitely grateful to you folks who tune in and chat during Nerd Glasses, who share stories, who do these things. It's amazing. But it is live, and if no one's talking, you're talking to yourself. Mm-hmm. And you know what? Did it once, do it again. Not ashamed of it. I was really grateful that my apologies. This has turned into a big old thing.
But you're fine.
I was infinitely grateful because after the stream on Sunday, Claire kind of saw that I was a little bit out of sorts and this and that and the other. So her and I sat and chatted and we talked about what do I want out of Twitch? Why am I still doing it? All these things. Well, I stopped acting in local shows and and doing traveling around the Capital District to find 5 minutes for open mic time because I can do this stuff here. Because I can share the different machinations and things like that. And you know what? What I do, what Boder does, what people will do, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not supposed to be, and it's never gonna be. Mm-hmm. You can't make everybody happy all the time. But I did determine when I was sitting there talking with Claire that that's what I wanted to do on Twitch. It's why I get so uncomfortable when people donate, when I get Twitch payouts and things like that, which is why I always post about them. Because I don't know what to do with the attention. But I love to know that I've made people happier. And you know what? I've done that since 2016. And I'm going to keep fucking doing it. Because you know what? It's fun! It's fun. Yeah. And it's just... It was one to grow on, and it was something kind of cool to see that, you know, what I've been doing, what I am doing, I have to keep trying and keep doing and build more and do differently and change the formula in some ways and keep the formula in other ways. And
in all ways, doing it in a way that you enjoy, because otherwise, why are you doing it?
Yeah, because if you don't enjoy your passions... If you're pursuing your passions, pursue them because they're your passions, not because it's your job. Because if it's your job, then it's not a hobby. And that's fine. Jobs are important and you have to do them. You do. You don't have to like them, but you got to do them. But yes, I was a little sad and then I was excited because then I did think about, you know, when I didn't stream on Friday or Wednesday, we did a Jackbox night instead over Discord. And although I wasn't well that Friday, I played Overwatch and everyone came in and we all, you know, people chatted. I wasn't really so communicative because I couldn't be because I was in and out of the bathroom every 15 to 30 minutes. But I was really thankful for the folks that are around, the folks that help out, the folks that stream, the folks that respond to the Go Lives, that do these things. Because it means a lot, whether we're able to express it at the time or not. Please know your time is infinitely valuable, and what you do with it is important to you, and you should do the things that you like. And if you're doing things because you feel out of some sort of obligation, Don't feel obliged to do things for people because they're nice, because you like them, this and that and the other. Do them because it's what you want to do. And if it's not what you want to do, don't do it. These are all different machinations and things. But what have I been playing lately? Overwatch 2, because awesome, delicious, delicious content is a-coming. And Dead Space, because I now have at least two more playthroughs to do, because there's a secret ending I have to unlock. Okay. And if I don't play through the game on Impossible Mode, middle school Dave is a better gamer than current day Dave, and I can't have that happen. He was a plebeian.
That is a rough thing to find out when you're like, this game that I used to play no problem gives me trouble now.
Like, but it doesn't. That's the problem. Like, it genuinely doesn't. I had
I'm
so much
not running
fun.
into that too much. I have occasionally had stuff where, like, I used to be able to do this. Part of it was that, like, when I was younger, I had more time to just blow on trying to get good at something. But also, like, you know, I'm turning 37 this year. The time of me having noticeably slower reactions and being worse at some genres of game for it, just around the corner. That scares me.
It'll be fine.
It's like when you realize you can't hear that tone that only teenagers can hear.
But that's a good thing, because now you can just play it in perpetuity.
Reaction time of us geriatrics ain't what it used to be.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, also going back through comments, best 157,000 channel points I ever spent, says Vladdy.
Oh, God.
The rich get richer because he won the poll, meaning that the wealth gets redistributed back up to him. This is a flawed economic system, Dave.
No, it's not flawed, because how do you get those channel points?
By having the most to be able to blow 157,000.
And you only get them by watching, by spending the most precious commodity you have in life, Twitch time. Just accept the loss. I'm gonna Mr. Beast this. Oh, God. So, with the...
how many fucking channel points?
Yes. So, we talked about... the snack today is the most Oreo. And cookies and cream flavored creme and all these things. And
Vladdy's saying select Duncan get dunked because he is fine having spent those, not invested them, spent them.
But with 53% of the vote, the answer to the chat's currently as it sits question, that there is a story we have to talk about with our snack, after our snack.
Yes.
And it involves our good friend Conspiracy Baseball, because Red Mage Gaming brought a story to the Nerd Glass's attention that with the most Oreos, there's some perhaps too close to the chest realizations and things like that.
I have him sitting on the Steve deck. Is that messing anything up?
As long as it's not on those Steve deck buttons.
If you unplug the Steve deck.
Don't unplug the Steve deck, it'll turn off the stream.
Oh,
Yes, it will.
as long as it's at the bottom half.
All right, it's on the bottom half.
So, the winner is that folks do in fact believe that Oreos are
Harbingers
of economic destruction. Evil betwixt two cookies. Congratulations to all of you folks who gambled so many channel points for these delicious things. Steve, are they good?
Yeah, it's Oreo.
Oh, first off, before you open that, look at the serving size.
Oh, it's already open.
look at the serving size.
The serving size, about 18 servings per container. Serving size is one cookie. There's 17 cookies in this package right now.
Yeah, my boss at work got those and then realized that it's only a one serving size, so his wife said you can only have one. So he was sad because he did not have milk to have a second one with. He then brought us in each a single cookie in a little Ziploc bag and said, here's your one serving of cookie.
Yeah, there was 15 before we start. I had a second one.
No, I'm glad, damn it. I buy all these things, and I can't
They're
eat all of it
so
myself.
big. So like I prefer double stuffed Oreos
Oh,
over regular.
Love Alec loves double stuffed Oreos.
But
Those
like
are his
when you bite
favorite.
into a double stuffed Oreo, it is still like it bites like a regular Oreo. You know what I mean? Like you take a section out of it. This, when you bite into it, Dave, it is so creamy. There is so much cream that the cookies on the outside squish in and shatter and are just stuck to the cream. Good luck. Dink.
Steve already ate his. I'm just gonna air dink it to him. Just open your mouth for a second.
Look at that.
Ah, it's like a Five Guys burger. All the ingredients are spilling out the sides. Wait, give me a cookie head. Wait, give me a cookie head.
Oh, hold on. I'll give you a cookie smile.
What up, Auntie? Only one. What madness is this? I wonder what happens if you dip it in pilk, says Taco Bell. Well, we'll have to wait till St. Jude's Play Live to find that out, won't we? Because it is on the menu.
I'm gonna have a second. I'm having 2 servings of the most Oreo right now.
I've heard rumblings from Nightwing over at Auntie Anne's that you're gonna allow me to make more than just pilk, and I'll be a bartender.
Can we spoil that for a second? The St. Jude's incentive.
Sorry.
No, I'm glad. Please. The more we can talk about St. Jude stuff, please put $5, $10, $20, $100,000 aside. Because what we are going to be doing is Demon Dragon Boner 2 servings is so much Oreo. Sugar coma. Don't tell my nutritionist about this, is Taco Bell.
Oh no, I ran out of water Fuck.
Be a man, lick your gums uncomfortably while looking at the camera.
For the rest of the show. Alright, St. Jude incentive, go.
But the incentive is actually going to be that I'm going to give Steve a certain amount of just money blankly. I figured this out with Vilai. It was a St. Jude's incentive for last year that you guys met. That Steve gets to make any concoction of beverage that is in printed cookbooks.
Damn it.
You know what? I will also say if it's published on reputable cooking sites. Reputable in so much as it's not associated with Urban Dictionary. But I think I'm just going to turn one of the streams into where I'm going to be doing something. You know what it might even just be? A stream. I really might just make a stream where Steve gets to torment me with various foods and beverages. And as things are donated, Steve gets to put things in front of me and I have to eat it.
Love Alex said I could make eggnog, and eggnog sounds great, but pegnog? No, not pegnog, Boater. Don't say it like that. I was thinking putting Pepsi into eggnog, and I said pegnog, and that's bad.
I don't... Look, it's Red Mage! Red Mage, do you want a most Oreo? We bought them specifically because you posted the story. I hope you are. I hope you know that we had people vote, by the way, on your topic you posted, and 53% of the audience voted 157,000 channel points to vote that yes, the Oreos are evil into cookies because they help cause economic destruction. You hath wrought hell.
They really are the harbingers of doom.
Do you want to come sit on camera while we talk about this story? Do you want to zip up your hoodie just so that you don't... I just because sometimes we talk about food, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe get people in trouble at their jobs. So you actually will all get to meet Red Mage Gaming in person for this next segment and story. I'm very excited that you stopped by just as we were literally about to talk. Would you like one of these?
Yes, yes. For this topic, I will need a tinfoil hat.
Would you like a conspiracy baseball tinfoil hat? Steve, would you like a tinfoil hat? I do have to buy more tinfoil. Can I file this on my taxes?
Yeah.
Probably.
You bought how many rolls of tinfoil? I needed it for what? So on the Nerd Glasses, anytime we talk about stories that are not necessarily fully provable or truthful, and
Or have
sometimes
no basis in fact whatsoever. Hold on, the hat is on.
or if it's a news about Hideo Kojima,
I feel like this isn't quite.
No, I think we'll just gonna
congratulations
form it.
everyone. By the way,
form it to the skull.
we finally killed the roll of tinfoil. Congratulations, we've had that many conspiracy baseball stories. Way to go, stream! Way to present absolutely terrifying truths. Ooh.
Okay, so as the story goes, actually, Red Mage, would you like to tell us how the story goes of Oreos and economic disaster?
Well, the fun part of it is, it's just I noticed it. The first time I had heard this story was around 2019 when the Most Stuff Oreo came out. And it was just this list of things of anytime Oreo comes out with a new Oreo that has like more stuffing than it does cookie.
Yes.
It was always coinciding with a stock market crash or a recession in the general economy. And then when I saw the Most Oreo post, I'm just like, no, this is the harbinger of doom, because every time we've done this, it's been terrible. With the most stuff being, the start of the whole pandemic.
Right.
1974, Nabisco launched the double stuffed Oreo, twice the filling. A good thing, right? Wrong. That year, the Dow Jones crashes 27.5%. Bad timing, right? The Big Stuff Oreo was released in 1987. Later that year, we had Black Monday, where all 23 major world markets saw a sharp decline, with some falling more than 40%.
Credit to Wealthify.
Wealthify.
For our source here as we read this.
And Red Mage Gaming for posting this story that I'm now reading verbatim with our tinfoil hats. Still an anomaly, right? Well, in 2011, the triple stuff Oreo was introduced, and then what happened next?
That says, Dave, that doesn't say triple stuff Oreo. That says
Triple double Oreo.
That sounds like a fucking Timmy's order.
It does. The S&P 500 closed the year at exactly 0%. Ooh. And in a move that made everyone think that Nabisco was just trying to toy with the world economics, they introduced a short run of the limited edition Most Stuff Oreo in 2018. They then brought them back for good in January 2020. And we all know what happened to markets in 2020. We don't talk about 2020 no more. Of course, this article, the Wealthify article, then goes on to talk about the fact that it's a fun thing to think about, that cookies and that the Oreo people know something economically that we don't. But even the articles themselves have a little bit of a wink.
Yeah, so it starts off with like, oh, all this stuff that coincides, and it does economically coincide.
Yeah.
That said, economic downturns are kind of a dime a dozen, and you'd be hard pressed not to, happen to land on that.
Oh, absolutely. Like, my theory on it is the cream has to be cheaper to produce than the cookie. When the economy is taking a dip, they make use of that thought and just make cookies with more cream.
I think so. This, you know what? I'll keep tinfoil on.
Alec, put that head back on, motor. Join us.
So it's when I agree with this, hat is on. When I'm playing Bendy's advocate, it's back off. Come here, Bendy. Excuse me. I think that experimenting with cream is about the only thing that Oreo can do. If they experiment with the cookie, the biscuit, the only thing that anyone accepts is the chocolate one, unless it's the vanilla one. And that's it. Anything else, any other color, people are like, that's not Oreo, that's wrong, that's awful. But they
Unless
can
it's
do
those summer ones that were terrible.
Right, awful. Like, but they can do anything with the cream, and people are like, oh, this is a wonderful, fun, different Oreo. So I think that they experiment with the cream a lot more, and it just so happens that sometimes when there are cream experiments, there's also economy go whoopsie. Is my take on that. And I know that Wealthify went kind of in depth and pointed out like more instances where they added more cream and there wasn't an economic downturn kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
yeah.
it's definitely
But
like
this is why it's a tinfoil hat.
yes. There's definitely times when it happens, and the correlation does not mean causation. But it's an interesting thing to think about.
What we're saying in the most conspiracy baseball, because we don't have any more Kojima news this week, is that every time you see these puppies on the shelf, just know, stuff the money in your mattresses and don't go outside. Things are going to go bad. It's going to be raining cats and dogs. And Kojima's finally going to release that Silent Hill game. It's going to happen.
Red Velvet. Well, that's right. The Red Velvet cookies were good. But, you know, few and far between that they have a successful hit with the cookies.
I mean, they did a gingerbread one that was pretty good.
Oh my god! Shrek films!
A precedent success being based on the number of Shrek movies under their administration. Actually, so, and I mentioned this in chat, but I think going back to at least the 90s, if not the 80s, who is going to win a presidential election has been forecast by who sells the most like masks at Spirit Halloween.
That tracks though if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it did in 2020, but I know that like in 2016 there was this thing of like, oh, Trump sold more masks. Then guess who was elected a week later?
It was a mistake, and you have to admit you did bad by voting for him. All right, I'm speaking for everybody on the Nerd Glasses podcast. You did bad. You done fucked up. But back to conspiracies.
Doesn't mean that it wasn't a trend that continued through that year. Again, I don't know if it did for 2020, but it did for at least a decade and a half before that.
I could see it. Wait, does that mean that, like, we should have had, like, Bob the Builder as a president, like, years ago?
Well, no,
and,
I don't
And, like,
mean-
William Shatner.
It's not an open write-in thing. It's between the two of them, which one sells the most. Not like, oh, it looks like Shrek is our president. Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Shrek is president-elect.
Oh, the only problem here is Shrek isn't likely to drain the swamp.
Fuck you! Get out! That was good.
That was so good. What a great, you know what? And that's a great note. Because I love the content we generate.
Oh! Hold on, I get to try this thing that I was told about. I was told there was a new Steve command, and that was the place for it.
Summons the editor from the slumber in his office because he either broke something or there's a moment of such magnitude it needs clipped.
Not it needs to be clipped, it needs clipped.
Exactly.
I fixed that in my brain. I thought it said it needs to be clipped. Nope, it needs clipped.
When Steve initially shopped that around, I really liked the "it needs clipped." Like, it's a commandment.
Oh my!
Conspiracy baseball, Red Mage. Thank you for the for the tales. And like so many things, you folks, we do this program live. Just turn up to the studio. It's fine.
Oh boy!
More Kojima news, please.
Hey, there is a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. We never know.
Could be.
We don't know what's going to be announced during the Nintendo Direct. What do you think is going to be Red? As long as you're here, you stick around too. What do you think is going to be announced?
I think it's going to be more info on the next Zelda.
Okay, more.
Because we're getting really close to that.
Which has a
coming up in
name, but
May.
we still just call it Breath of the Wild 2.
Basically, yeah. What is it? Tears of the Kingdom?
Yes, Tears of the Kingdom. Okay.
Thank you, thank you, Steve. Is it getting a different name in the UK? Or is it just that they... No, but seriously, the Nintendo Direct, when they showed the trailers for the games, they didn't show the title card for the game for that reason.
Well, no,
That-
the
I mean,
Direct
I
was a
think-
couple days ahead of time, so they, like, took down the VODs from
Yeah.
that at that point, yeah.
Jolly old England did not get to see jolly old Breath of the Wild 2. Simply because of that. So you think it's going to be a Breath of the Wild?
I'm thinking there's going to be there's no chance that they don't at least mention it because it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
close. And they gotta. This is the point I think where building hype for Breath of the Wild is important for them because
Yep.
okay, they announced it and then we've just kind of been quiet about it. But now it's getting to the point where it's going to be coming out, so we got to ramp up, get those pre-orders in, and the best way for them to do that is just start now and keep going. Because I don't think there's any other major Nintendo titles on the horizon that we know about.
Yes, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's awful quiet
Yeah.
at Camp Nintendo.
Are they gonna pull a Hi-Fi Rush and just be like, here's a game, now, go enjoy it?
You know what they are going to do? They're going to look directly in the camera and go, "We have an announcement to make. But we're not going to do it at E3. We're going to do it right now."
No, we
Look at
have
the
an
trailer.
announcement to make, and we will announce more about that announcement before E3. You can expect the actual announcement in October.
That hurt my soul.
Because
My
you could
soul
see it happening.
Yes.
Taco Pill speculating a new Smash Bros.
I saw someone saying, I hope that they do an HD re-release of Wind Waker, because there was one for like the Wii U, but that shop got shut down, I think.
It's still up
It is? Okay.
next month.
So next month it's going to get shut down. So that, like, it's a, hey, could we get a physical edition of this on the Switch, maybe? What about you, Steve? What do you expect?
Give me Kid Icarus or give me Death. And I would also like Tomodachi Life.
Kid
That's
Icarus and Tomodachi Life.
Yes. That's all I want in this world.
Or Death.
Or Death.
Steve
I
might
mean,
not
well,
be
I know
around
we-
next
I
week.
know we can arrange
but
one of these things.
Steve might not be around here next week, but next week we will at least have a report from the future's past Steve.
I actually won't even be here next week.
Or Death it is then. Thanks, Eddie.
Is Steve dead, or is he just
So my only
enjoying
choice is
some
or
time-
Death.
Is he just enjoying some time with his wife? You'll find out when you tune in next week.
Demon Dragon says new Mario game based on the movie. So like a video game adaptation of a movie of the video game.
It's a
just
Smash
meta enough
Bros
to work.
mod where it's Charles Martinet fighting Chris Pratt.
With DLC from the SNL sketch with Pedro Pascal
Yep.
Mario Kart.
Yes. Yep.
There has been a leak that has been announced today of potential Lego Zelda.
Want it?
Interesting.
Want it? We'll pay any amount of money for
I
it.
thought
Lego
it was,
Zelda.
No, I think it's Lego kits that are Legend of Zelda based, not a Lego Zelda game.
Oh yeah, no. Lego.
Still want it. Still want
I mean,
it.
yeah, I
okay,
was-
okay,
like,
okay. I was
to
gonna
go
be like,
alongside
interesting.
like the Mario
Zelda
Brothers
Lego kits. It's the order that you put those in, because at one point Steph and I are also playing Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, and we
Yeah.
also had an ATSD that we wanted to put together, and I turned over and say, Steph, Lego Star Wars or Star Wars Lego? The order that you put them is important. At the same time, I
Love
also-
that news. Steve, look at our producer Steve dropping news on the Nerd Glasses.
At the same time, I want the studio that did like Lego Movie and such to do a Zelda movie in the Lego style.
The set is going to be the Great Deku Tree, and you could either make it in Breath of the Wild
Yes.
form or Ocarina of Time form.
Yes!
Lego minifigures coinciding.
Is it so? I
I'll
can't
send
wait
the
to see it.
video in the Discord.
Cool.
I
All right,
can't
awesome.
wait because I want to see that because I want to know if Dan Barry's getting a great Deku tree.
I already mentioned it to him. He said perhaps.
He said perhaps about the Atari, and we don't have one of those, or the Fender.
We have one. We have an Atari out in front.
Yeah, but we don't have the Lego Atari.
That is true.
Like, I know the Lego NES got a flat out no. In fairness, at the time we had 12 like in stock, and they just weren't going anywhere. And then we literally blinked, and they were all sold, and we were like, "Go!" Like,
Wow.
we're stuck. Have the various links from three timelines meet up. Yes! I absolutely want it, and I absolutely love it. But yeah. Oh my God, we officially, this is the first program where we didn't get to any of the topics we wrote.
Yeah. Like, I slipped the Nintendo Direct in there. We have news topics
Like,
that we haven't gotten to at all.
3 pages of news, and I made Steve share videos and things like that. But you know what?
Those pages are gonna go into Discord.
I have some unfortunate news about the about the Citadel. The Citadel, first of all, is not going live next. I caught myself, and I don't know anyone picked it up, but I picked it up, and I had to say
Citadel hasn't aired since November.
I have some unfortunate news about my bold saying last week about the Shack, namely that this week on the Shack, after here on the Nerd Glasses,
Steve will finally be finishing
a different game that looks just like Car Quest.
Car Quest.
It's spelled just
He's
like
gonna
Car
finish
Quest.
Car Quest this week.
I beat the story. I just have to collect the rest of the collectibles.
That's he's gonna keep playing Car Quest.
I don't want to.
Every week this year, Steve is gonna be playing Car Quest. He doesn't want to, but he's gonna, because that's how we're gonna announce it now. Steve, you're playing Car Quest on the Shack.
Back to the Shack. Car Quest on tap.
Like, eventually you might be playing another game as well, but there's always Car Quest is eternal.
Also, I was able to secure some more soft drinkies for Steve to try on the opening of the program, and it's going to be one of the ingredients of Pilk varied, but it's not Pilk. It's not Pilk.
I may have to pilkify it for 2 weeks from now.
No, you can do that with your wife on Valentine's Day.
Oh.
Look, dear, I made you chalky milk. Why isn't it brown? Drink it. Drink it, wife.
No. She's lactose intolerant, and that one.
You make almond milk.
If she
They
does-
make
almond
almond
milk?
milk.
No, almond milk is disgusting.
Ooh, do it with
I like almond milk.
All
vanilla
natural soy
soy.
milk.
Do it with like vanilla soy milk and then like vanilla Pepsi.
No. If it's
Do
not
it.
milk, it's nothing to me.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it for your wife.
Love
Be a
Alex.
good
Steve,
husband.
Steve, you're wrong. I will just quickly speculate. I believe tomorrow we are going to be learning about a new Star Fox game.
Huh.
They've been real quiet about that, and eventually, I'm gonna just like every year for the Super Bowl. I predict that the 1985 Bears are gonna win. I'm wrong every year, but I'm not wrong in my prediction.
Maybe we'll see Metroid Prime 4 after 6 years.
Could be. Could be. Oh, Vladdy also said Metroid Prime 4 at the same time. Weird. I love our friends.
Has the Metroid
I mean, it
Prime
could be
trilogy
a new
been
Metroid
remastered yet?
Fusion game.
Has
Could be.
It doesn't have to be Prime.
has Metroid Prime the trilogy been remastered yet, or is it still? Yeah, so
yet.
that could be a thing too.
Yeah.
Maybe both. Hey, 4 will be coming in a year or so, but in the meantime, remastered coming out in May.
Nintendo, do a barrel roll. Also, cockroach milk is the thing. Well,
What's your milk?
good night, everybody.
We're done. Good night.
Yep.
It didn't work.
Ah.
Fine.
Nope,
we'll do
nope.
the full.
Nope, we'll just all pretend and not acknowledge Vladdy's comment and how horrible it is.
Thank you, everybody, for watching the Nerd Glasses podcast. As always, we've enjoyed most of your comments. Make sure you stick around here for the Shack after this, where Steve, as previously discussed, will be playing Car Quest.
Not Conquest. You finished the
I
game.
will not
Make sure you're
stream until that game is finished.
Make sure you're following for more awesome content and coming back right here next Tuesday for the Nerd Glasses podcast. In the meantime, I've been Boater.
I'm George.
And I'm Dave, man.
Your name's George.
Yes.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Red Mage.